Thank you very much. Econ 1 coming to the aid of Econ 3, who is hopefully now ready to respond to this round of open debate. Econ 3, are you there? Yes, you're recognized.
So thank you again for your recognition. Firstly, thank you, Econ 1, for your help on this one. And let's now go to the responses. So first off, I think someone was talking about incentive and how are we going to get the companies to get involved with LCCs. We will try and get this done by incentivizing the companies to partake in LCCs. How is this going to be done? Is by bringing value of the money of the LCCs up in a certain region, meaning that companies will be incentivized to use the money as the money will have a greater value in a certain region. I hope this answers your first question. And secondly, in a certain region, so local events and concerts, festivals, and fundraisers will be used to boost the economy. I'm sorry.
Econ 3, are you still with us? If not...
I'm sorry, I had some technical issues. Yeah, sorry. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, I believe.
Okay, thank you. So in a certain region, this LCCs would be used to help organize these events, and this means that the economy and the GDP would increase because the investments would actually go up, consumption will go up, meaning that these organizers and organizations that would organize such festivals and fundraisers, let's say, would not actually harm the currency, but it would
conclude.
Yeah, that would actually increase the value, let's say, and actually boost the economy as investments and consumption are actually a part of the GDP. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will start the next round with a point from NV2. You are recognized.
Thank you for the recognition. I just want to further touch upon the issue of inflation compared to the national currency as well. The local community currency is very, very prone to inflation, as well as it is being short-term, as many types of local currencies are, notwithstanding the national currencies, which are, I would say, kind of superior to the one of local, because it's not so prone to the aforementioned inflation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will next move on to a point from Cult.
Thank you for the recognition. I do not see in the OC how will the implementation of the LLCs affect tourists who want to exchange their currency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cult, for this short point. We will move on to Reggie.
Thank you for the recognition. I have a question regarding point number 1. What is a connotation between introducing LCCs and improving on the environment? Because I don't see a link there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will move on to take a point from E-Tray.
Yes, thank you for recognition. There are certain theories that local currencies can only increase economic activity temporarily and result in destabilizing and decline in it in the long run. So my question is, I fail to see how you address the issue of LCC's effect on economy. And I'd like to propose that you call upon European legislators to implement some kind of regulations considering like the effects of LCCs to ensure that they in long term bring more good than harm? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will return to the proposing committee next to address these points on, for example, destabilizing the economy in the long run, the implementation of LCCs in comparison to the national currency, also how it would affect tourists, and how LCCs are linked to sustainability exactly. Econ 3, are you ready to respond? Econ 3, are you there?
Sasha, should I go?
Yes, you can go.
So first of all, replying to the fact that I would like to highlight the fact that national currency has nothing to do with the regional currency, therefore it won't be affected. €1 is equivalent to one value of like an LCC. Moving on in terms of the connection of the environment and the LCCs is that LCCs will encourage companies to become more environmentally conscious by adopting the LCCs for their exchange of their services or product. For example, implementing LCCs to practice in the decrease of the environmental impact of transfer of goods and services. In addition to that, there were questions about the economy in the long run. Well, actually, if an economy of the region is going well in terms of LCCs and the region experiences an economic boom, well, this will later on help globally in the long run the economy, since a specific sector and region will be going well, influencing the others around. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for this response. We will now move on to the last round of open debate, where I encourage all partaking committees to make use of their direct responses, preferably before returning to the proposing committee. And we will start this round with a point from security and defense. Seda, you're recognized.
All right, thank you for the recognition. I just have a quick point regarding your policy proposals 2C and 2E. Both of these attempt to tie the LCCs to the government in some way, and I was just wondering whether that doesn't kind of go against the purpose of LCCs of being a sort of currency of the people that they can go around with themselves. So just if you could clarify that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next up is a point from NV1. Wait, do I see a direct response here? Yes, there's a direct response from Libe. I'm sorry, NV1, you will be recognized after. Libe, you're recognized for your direct response.
Okay, thank you for recognition. Following on to the point of going against the definition of LCCs, we also must express our concern for it being limited more limited in terms of usage if it's regulated by the government, and for it to not be anymore in the hands of people, citizens, or advocacy groups, or rather being a further tool for the government to expand on corruption in the bureaucratic system, which is usually corrupt in most Eastern European countries, for example.
Thank you very much for this direct response. We will now proceed to NV1.
Once again, thank you for your recognition. I would like to take your attention on point 3 as well again, to distinguish between cryptocurrencies and LCCs. In Econ 1, they have mentioned that it is actually, it might be different how we store it, and that could be true, but while using LCCs, doesn't it diminish the value of cryptocurrencies? If you could clarify that for me, I would be grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next up, we will take a point from fishes, which is pesh. And whoever takes notes in my sheet, please don't write fish. Pesh, you're recognized.
Thank you so much for the recognition. We also had a similar point about the cryptocurrencies. You mentioned that actually the SECs can boost the local economies and make it more attractive for businesses. But have you considered the fact that some corporations are actually creating their own currencies right now, such as Amazon, Google, and Apple? Thank you very much for the recognition.
Thank you very much. And we will next move on to a point from NV2. You're recognized.
Hello again. Thank you for recognizing us. So I have a question as well. Having such a distinction at the EPC level, could that, I mean, it could be quite threatening for the integrity of the euro, and it might also allow for the for an appropriate usage of LCC, which goes beyond the economic boosting function. So I'm quite curious about your opinion on that as well.
Thank you very much. And because this is the last round of open debate, I would like to take one very last point, barring any direct responses, that is, from regional management. You're recognized.
Just responding to what Econ stated by saying that local economic success will lead to a more global external economic success as the money produced will then feed out. But wouldn't like having a local currency inhibit that greater multiplier effect, because people will be incentivized to continue to invest in this local economy rather than converting their money into euros or whatever and spreading it to other towns, as this is this has been the most successful route, that a local particular currency would only inhibit the growth of other currencies, the growth of the external area.
Thank you very much. And would you look at that? Econ 2 is here with a direct response before the end of debate. You're recognized, Econ 2.
To add on to that, I'd also like to say that even though it may seem that this currency will help the local firms out, in reality, this won't be the case. As we live in such a globalized world, in order to buy raw materials and outsource a lot of things, they will need a currency. These local firms will need a currency that must be accepted globally. And there is nothing in the resolution that will make these LLCs accepted globally, meaning that these local firms that actually hold these currencies won't be able to use it to buy the raw materials that they actually need in order to boost their production, meaning that they might actually go bankrupt.
Thank you very much. I see another direct response from NV1. Is this directly related to the last point mentioned? If so, you're recognized.
Yes, I believe it is directly related. And the point that I would say is further adding to what the previous delegate said, that the excessive implementation of local complementary currencies could inhibit growth. I may also add to this that I believe personally that the excessive implementation of LCCs will probably also create confusion if, for example, each region has its own LCC, and it will probably create larger transaction costs, as well as citizens will need to change the currency they use for each region many times, which might create a lot of confusion.
Thank you very much. I see that there is one more direct response from NV2, and I need to check. I think NV2, I think you still have your direct response, so we'll continue with you.
Thank you for the recognition. I just want to point out that somewhere in your previous speeches, you self-contradicted yourself by saying that euro is 1-to-1 ratio to the local currency,
I hate
and
to
that-
stop you right there. This does not seem to be related to the last point mentioned, which was about that local complementary currencies being implemented will be confusing to people and companies and lots of exchanges necessary. You are currently muted, so I do not hear you.
Well, I believe it is connected because the confusion is available. It is right now, as the committee is self-contradicting itself in implementing the local currencies, as once they are saying that it is 1-to-1 ratio to the national, and after that they are saying that it has a higher value, for example, in organizing festivals. So how do you want to implement that if they are saying two different things? Thank you.
Okay. Barring any more direct responses, we will proceed to a quick response to the last round of open debate to discuss or to respond to points raised on potentially inhibiting the multiplying factor that LCCs have, which in turn got responded to that maybe LCCs are not helping out companies, which in turn got pointed out that maybe there will be confusion to people. Furthermore, there were questions on the purpose of LCCs overall, whether they are still a currency of the people if they are government regulated, and also what the distinguishing factors are between LCCs and cryptocurrencies. I would like to recognize the proposing committee for a short answer to these points. Econ 3, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the recognition. I better make it quick. So regarding the first question from Sede, regarding clauses 2C and 2B, all we want for the currencies is legal acknowledgement and inclusion in the democratic process. We don't want them to be regulated by the governments. In fact, that's what we're trying to fight. Then there was a question from NW1, I believe. Cryptos and LCCs are two different things, two different spheres, and they cannot intervene with each other. They are both based on a different kind of implementation, and there is a very low chance of an LCC having an effect on a crypto. Then there was a question from Pesh. Yes, there are currencies at Apple and Google. However, these are corporate currencies, not local complementary currencies. They are not based on a region, therefore do not fall under our resolution. Then there was a question from NW1, which honestly, I sadly did not really understand. I'm sorry about that. Then there was one from Reggie. We're trying to boost the region and the multiplier, so therefore we can work with the region. Then there was one about buying materials, for example, with the local complementary currencies. You don't have to do that. The companies are not bound to use only LCCs. You can buy them with euros, zlotys, Czech crowns, whatever you want. It is up to you. However, in the region, you can use LCCs. And
please conclude.
I will. Sure. And to the last direct response, the currency is still a local one, and you can. Oh yeah, that was one. Okay, these are all of them. I'm really sorry. There was a lot of responses. So yeah, that is.
Thank you very much for this response. We will now move on to a short 5-minute break for everyone but the proposing committee. Please find yourselves Econ 3 in your committee room while we take a 5-minute breather and have some nice music playing. I think this is a good point to stop the loop, because I hope that the proposing committee is on their way back into the room. I have heard that there is no amendment, so I would like to move on to the summation speech whenever Econ 3 is ready. Econ 3, are you there? Econ 3, please.
Yes, we are, but our chair doesn't appear to be.
It is okay. If all of you are here, you can start with the speech.
All right, thank you for your recognition. Dear Mr. Vice President, honor members of the board, distinguished guests, my name is Karol Zait, and I will deliver a summation speech for the Econ 3 committee. In the year 1987, a pair of teachers came together and created a project that aimed to infuse younger Europeans into community acts of citizenship, exchange national and cultural spirits, and further unify themselves as Europeans. Probably nobody would have thought that after 34 years of this project's existence and unimaginable efforts of extraordinary people, it would bless hundreds of thousands of young Europeans with life-altering experiences. As you already might have guessed, this project is called European Youth Parliament, and it is the sole reason you and I are here today. At the beginning of the 21st century, European citizens started to experiment with local complementary currencies, and then discovering how much they can help and improve the lives of their families, neighbors, and fellow citizens. They too have put in dozens of hours of work, huge amounts of money, and incredible effort to get their currencies up and running. Same as EYPers, they did all that for the good of their communities, knowing that along the way they will encounter highs, lows, even rock bottoms and peaks of the world. And same as EYPers, they ask for nothing in return. The difference between us and them is that they are about to reach a breaking point. That breaking point will determine whether or not they will be able to continue to help their communities, or if the lack of support, recognition, and legislation will slowly kill them off one by one. It is now upon us to decide if they shall have the same luxury we've been given or not. Let's vote together and provide a light at the end of a tunnel for all the communities that are dependent on these currencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this short and sweet speech. We will therefore continue on to voting on this motion for a resolution by the Committee on Economic Affairs number 3. We will proceed first with a vote on the aim of the resolution. The poll is already open. Please submit your votes now. There should be 20 seconds or so left for voting for you. If you have not yet submitted your vote, please do so ASAP. It is with a lot of interest to see the results that are in now. We have a tie. There are 30 votes in favor, 30 votes against, and 7 abstention. According to what we have discussed in the order for this GA, this means that we will move on to a vote on the policy proposals, and this vote will definitely determine if the motion for a resolution is voted in favor or against. It is also that I encourage everyone who voted to abstain in this first round to really think about it and think whether the policy proposals are to be in favor or against. And with this, I'm hoping that in a moment, the second vote will be opened on the policy proposals. Yes, there it is. You once again, I think, have a minute to submit your vote. Please submit them now, and I'm very much looking forward to see what the results will be. The voting is still open, or did it just close? It is with great regret that I have to inform this General Assembly that the motion for a resolution by the Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs 3 has not passed with 24 votes in favor, 40 votes against, and 4 abstention. I'm very sorry to say that. Please do not take this as a vote against your work, but more that the GA disagrees with your exact outcomes. I would still like for everyone to quickly unmute themselves and offer them a round of applause for their great work these past days.
Thank you so much, Tobias, for chairing this debate so wonderfully. And it was indeed a challenging topic, but we hope that